It is the place where we liberate you from the chaos of working in your business. You've reached the Business on Purpose podcast, the Business on Purpose platform. My name's Scott Beebe, the founder and the head coach of the Business on Purpose platform. And these next few podcasts are going to be really, really special. We do this on a regular basis down in the low country of South Carolina, where our geographical headquarters is. Our online headquarters is at mybusinessonpurpose.com, but we have the privilege of being able to serve small business owners, both locally and around the world. And locally, about every 3 months or so, we host an event, and we just provide it locally for our clients, the ones we get the privilege of being able to serve here in the low country, either with a lunch or, at the time of this recording, we just finished a half-day mid-year workshop where we really focused in on this one idea of what it means to be a heroic leader. And it wasn't just for the business owners we serve, but also for their key leaders. So we had a room full of about 40 people, all here in the low country of South Carolina, and it was a delightful time. And so you're going to hear a few sessions. I will be presenting in the first couple of sessions, and then you're going to hear a guy by the name of Jesse Cole. He is the co-owner with his wife of the Savannah Bananas, a minor league baseball team in Savannah, Georgia, and also the Gastonia Growl, a minor league baseball team in Gastonia right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I promise you want to hear what he has to say. Just remember this: fans first, entertain always, and your mind will be blown by the stories he shares. And I think it'll be really, really impactful. I know it will be incredibly impactful with these stories that he shares. And you'll want to hear and take these next few podcasts really as leadership training. So you listen for yourself, pass it around to your team. And we're delighted to be able to share this with you from our time in the Heroic Leadership Half-Day Workshop for the Business on Purpose clients, and we're delighted to have you be able to join in. And listen, if you need support in being liberated from the chaos of working in your business, let us know, mybusinessonpurpose.com, or just go to 4stepstobusinessfreedom.com. It's all spelled out, 4stepstobusinessfreedom.com, and you can check out there how we might be able to serve you. All right, dive in. Here you go. Hope you enjoy this session of this series of heroic leadership entitled We Need You to Lead. Dive into this third session.
So, the third part of this, we've met the hero, right? Kind of ordinary world. Then we've seen that hero transition and start to become a leader. And kind of receive that call, that Batman call. And now what we see is the hero gets a little nervous and they reject the call. They start to put back and go, hey, this is way too big. You're asking me to do this for the customer, I'm not prepared to do that. You're asking me to do this with our team, I'm not prepared to do that. And so they begin, maybe not even overtly, but you just kind of sense in their reaction to it that they're like, they're not bought in. They're just not bought in. And so the hero starts to reject the call, but we have to ask ourselves why? Why do they reject that? Why do they reject the opportunity to lead? Why do they reject the opportunity to implement a process that's going to save them headache? Some of you guys have processes that are literally worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Meaning, if this process does not get complete, this machine will break down. And if this machine breaks down, it not only costs us the price of the machine, but it also costs us the price of downtime on the machine. And it will literally cost you 5 and 6 figures. So what's the barrier? What keeps us from going, yeah, that's a good idea? And they begin to reject that call. I'm convinced that one of it is the risk. When you ask me to do something specific, it doesn't sound risky, but inherently it's incredibly risky. So there's a paradox here. Why? Why is that risk? Because if you ask me to do a process and I'm the one in charge of the process, now my name is on the process, and that's risky. Because the process can't answer for its success or failure, I have to. And so there's an inherent risk when you put me on a perceived island to implement a process of risk. And that risk leads to discomfort. And that discomfort, what it ends up doing is that discomfort, what we know now after every movie we watch, every novel we read, that discomfort is what powers the movie up, right? We start to get agitated and uncomfortable. We're sitting in a movie and we see the hero kind of feeling uncomfortable. And we begin to have empathy or curiosity or concern or whatever it is. So the emotion is flowing in the risk. But remember, most people don't like risk. And they want to be comfortable. And they want to kind of sit back. But here's the reality. Have you ever read a story, watched a movie, gone to a play, where the story has started out like this. It was filled with sunshine and rainbows. Unicorns were in flight, jelly beans were flowing, and flowers were in full bloom. Everybody was the perfect size with the perfect hair and the perfect smile. You may have heard a story start like that, but you never stayed to watch the end of it. It's not interesting. Because it's not real life. It's not your life. Your life is when you wake up and your breath stinks, and your spouse's breath stinks, and you lie to him anyway and say, "Sweetie, you smell so good this morning." That's real life. Real life is when your kid comes home and they got a D on the test that they didn't study for, but they told you they did. That's real life. Real life is you get the phone call and he's got cancer, and now you got to deal with that and everything that goes with it. That's real life. Real life does not start with it was filled with sunshine and rainbows. That's not reality. That's why the nonsense we see all over the place is that you can make $1 billion in 30 minutes and never work again. It doesn't work because it's not real life. And so the hero begins to reject the call because the hero, remember, was conditioned to want something comfortable, but inherently realized that the risk is too much. And so they start to push back from that. And they want utopia. They want a life filled with unicorns and jelly beans and golf 364 days a year. At least they think. And not until they get into it, not until you buy the $180,000 car do you realize it drives just like every other car. Except this one's a lot more expensive. And I got to pay the guy again next month, and again next month, and again next month, and again next month, and again next month. The beginning of a great story is William Wallace, right? A small country completely surrounded by the English Empire to come in and try to take them over. That's where you get the great lines like freedom, where a guy paints his face blue and screams at us, right? And we get all amped up and cranked up. One of my favorite movies in the whole world is Gladiator, because that guy, Russell Crowe, he looked like he did push-ups for 6 years. Looks a lot like me in my prime. And so he was going through all of this. Jarrett can attest for it. It's true. Chris, don't laugh out loud. Come on now. And so, but you've got these guys that they're surrounded on all sides. They're sitting in the middle of risk. And the freedom cry is only powerful not because things were safe, not because the unicorns were flying, but it's because they were surrounded and had no other hope. William Wallace is not William Wallace unless England is demeaning and demanding on him. You realize that Jesus is not Jesus unless there's darkness. There's a light that comes into the dark. Jesus is an irrelevant story without darkness. William Wallace is an irrelevant story without the oppression of England. Churchill is an irrelevant man without the oppression of Europe all around him. Go back to John Maxwell. He said, if you want uphill challenges, you're never going to get to the top of the mountain with downhill habits. You got to have uphill habits, which means that your legs are going to burn, you're going to breathe heavy, and you're going to sweat hard. Because it's hard work. And so when we reject a call that fits directly within our skill set, so we were this ordinary person working to live, then we got called out to do something powerful, and then we begin to reject that call. When you reject that call and something that uniquely fills your skill set and your desires, then you've allowed fear to come in and completely erase it. And have marked you as neutral and void at that point. And so that's why we got to punch fear straight in the mouth. We've got to prepare well, because that famous quote that Mike Tyson said is, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. It's one of my favorite quotes of all time. And who said it? Mike Tyson. Unbelievable. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. So as a heroic leader, start preparing. Get your legs on fire. Breathe heavy. Sweat hard, because it's worth it. Because we need you to lead. We need you to lead. Stop sitting back. Stop waiting to be picked. Stop waiting on other stuff to happen. Take ownership of it. You've been called out. You've been asked as a key leader within your organization to lead. So lead. Coach. Do great work. Stop doing average work. And inspire your team to do great work. Create that culture. All right, last discussion. We're going to have Jesse come up. I'm about 5 minutes behind. I apologize for that. When we, or when somebody you work with rejects that skill set, when they reject that call, I want you to honestly think through what keeps you as a leader and as a coach from doing great work. When you've got an opportunity to do great work, when you've got an opportunity to go get more homes, when you've got an opportunity to go sit down with more clients, when you've got an opportunity to embed a process that will lead to great work, what keeps you from doing it? I want specifics too. I don't want like generalities, the weather and whatever, the economy. No, I want specific. Like, what keeps you from doing great work? Is it something from way back? Like some manager bit your head off when you did great work and they just crapped all over it? Is that what it is? Think through that. What stops us from doing great work? What makes us reject the call to do something that's great? And what stops us from being a leader?
I hope that was helpful. Make sure to check out the other episodes of this podcast series within the Business on Purpose podcast, focused on heroic leadership. We need you to lead. So what's your one big takeaway? Why? Because we need you to lead. Hey, we're here serving people just like you, small business owners, liberating you from your chaos. Let us know how we can serve you at the Business on Purpose platform. Head on over to mybusinessonpurpose.com or 4stepstobusinessfreedom.com, all spelled out, and we'll see you there.